Uh, I have to say, when you think, oh, can you have favorites? I must say, out of all the people that I've ever met in my life, the 20 people you are meeting through this book, they're just my favorite people. And I just am so honored to be doing life and making change with each and every one of them, linking arms and doing it together. And if nothing else, I'd love you to feel that you are part of this incredible collective as well, just by watching or listening in. We consider you part of this family. And so we for those of you that are just joining us now, or if you've been with us from the beginning, we're just so grateful that you're here. We're so happy that we're going on this journey together with you. I'm about to introduce you to somebody I've known for many, many years. She has achieved so much, literally climbing mountains. We go back a long, long way. I have seen this incredible change maker change so many lives, and not just the lives that she's changing over in her universe, but also in our universe as well. The Impact Catalyst, we bring this phenomenal ripple maker and change maker, this catalyst of great change, to our events. She speaks at a lot of our events, and oh my gosh, there's so much power in this beautiful human being that you're about to meet. So if you haven't bought the book yet, I'm going to get it up on the screen there. Make sure you go buy the book. Go buy it for somebody else. Christmas is coming. Buy one for yourself, buy one for someone else. We are raising money for charity, as we do with all of our books. So we're really excited to announce the charities. You'll see them on this page, the charities that we're supporting through the proceeds that come in through this book. So don't just buy it for yourself, buy it for someone else, and help to pay it forward to as many people as possible. So let's get the incredible Lisa Clifford up here just in a moment. She is building the Meant for More movement. If you know that you were meant for more, type the words meant for more in the comments, and let's start raising the roof for the amazing, the invincible Lisa Clifford. Woo!
Wow. Oh, thanks, Sammy.
I'm so happy that you're here. But like, we've done so many things together over the years, and I just love how the universe, God, keeps bringing us back together. It's like we go off and we do our things, and then we come back again, and then we go, and then we come back again. What a journey it's been, hey?
Completely. I mean, I remember the moment I first met you, but it's interesting when you talk about that journey of going off and coming back. I have never felt the disconnect. So there's never been a disconnect when we've gone and done that. It's always felt that we've been meant to be in each other's universes, unlike other people that you have in your life that you know that you'll never see them again. With you and I, there's been that bond of wanting to make a difference for people, I think, that's always united us. And I really like you.
Well, I love you.
That's what I meant.
As you've gone through this thing that we call life, this adventure that we call life, what would you say is one of the biggest lessons that you can impart to our viewers now? Because you've done so many things, and you've climbed Everest, you've walked across fire, you even do this and train other people how to do these things. Out of all the things you've seen and done, what would you say is one of the things you see consistently in human behavior that you just want to wrap them up in your arms and say, do you know what, it doesn't have to be like this, here's how you could do it? What would you say?
I think I always wonder if my answer is going to be the same as the ones that I've thought about before we have the conversation, and it's where is your focus? In any given moment, where is your focus? What are the stories you're telling yourself? What are the stories you're assuming are true, and therefore acting or not acting upon it? And I think the thing that holds people back the most, and did me when I was younger, I was working out today that I've been self-employed since I was 34, and I still, that's over 20 years ago.
I was going to say, you only look about 38, 40 now, so...
and I've not even the filter, and it's that what goes on our mind and where we put our focus, because the fire walking is an amazing metaphor for when you're at the fire. What I love about teaching it is if you take the same disciplines, the same focus, the same mindset, and point it to everything, which I now do, which is the fire really holds your focus in a way that all the nonsense that goes on in the head, there is no space for. So therefore your mind is completely conscious. And when you've got a conscious grip of your mind, I think it's incredible of what we're capable of. It's when we let go of our consciousness and we go into that kind of autopilot, which is where our unconscious thinking is, and our patterning and our programming and our beliefs and habits are. And then they're just kind of sleepwalking us into situations or around them in a form of not numbing us out to some extent. And I think when we're making big changes in our life, like changing a career or setting up our own business or a new relationship or a new friendship group, it requires us to be really conscious. And I think we've become uneasy with consciousness because it's tiring, but we also notice a lot of things. And sometimes we want to not notice them as much because they're inconvenient. And I think if we're navigating life through convenience and ease, we're not going to have the experiences that we know that we're truly meant for. And actually, the reality is, in that consciousness is so much more richness, so much more appreciation, and so many more things to be grateful for. And we participate in a different way. So it's not as scary to be conscious as we might think it is. Do you relate to that?
Totally, because I mean, it's so easy to keep pushing something down, isn't it? Keep stuffing it down, or that thought that keeps coming to you, wherever that's coming from. Like you might have a consistent little poke that keeps saying, oh, you should be doing this, or what if you could do this, or what, look at what they're doing, you could do that. And then there's this other part of us that just stuffs it down and goes, don't be stupid, that's for another time, or whatever. And how much of our lives do we actually spend saying no to things that we really would desire to say yes to?
And it's interesting because we don't give it the time to think about it. We give it an instant brush away, because I wonder if part of our unconscious mind, which we know our unconscious mind just wants to keep us safe, just wants to keep us alive. Happiness, fulfillment, feeling soulful, that's not our unconscious mind's interest. It's ticking the box. We're breathing. Stop asking for more. And so our mind is very happy to divert us into saying an immediate no. I can't do that. It's not the right time. It's a recession. We don't know what's happening in America, whatever. But if we were just to hold its focus and think, let's just explore. We don't have to act upon it. Let's just give ourselves permission to explore. What is it that I think I might want? What is it that my heart's calling for? What is it that I feel connected to? Where is it that I feel joy and life and light? And just to allow that capacity in our mind to be accessible to answer the question, even when the unconscious mind wants to keep us small and safe. So I think it's just giving ourselves, when we have that thought, but what would it be? What is it that I'm seeing somebody else do? If I wasn't sat at my desk now, repeating the same day as yesterday and probably the last 2 years, what is it that I would love to be doing? Because I answered that question myself. I'd never even thought about doing anything different. I'd worked my way up from the bottom. I didn't have any academic qualifications. I left school, went straight into work. I felt grateful to go as high as I'd got in my corporate sales career. And I headed some sales teams in my career and specialized in different sales areas. And I felt really lucky I'd got that. For me, for a girl like me with my upbringing, I felt really lucky. And I thought, well, if I've always done this, if I'm not going to do this, then what am I going to do? And that was scary. That was scary. But I also knew that I had a lot of life in me. I had a lot of zest for life in me. And I also knew that my childhood had to make had to make a difference. It had been a very challenging childhood, and I couldn't have lived that for no reason. I did not live that childhood to be average or not to make a difference. And so there was all these thoughts inside me, but not conscious. And it was the question, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? That I then bought a bottle of wine. And because I think that question requires, I now don't drink, not because of such life-changing events, you understand, but I definitely opened up time and got a big piece of flip chart paper because I thought my life is going to be big. And I was scared of answering the question because I knew it was going to be unrecognizable was the answer, but I had to sit with it and answer it. And less about going through job roles. It was more about what is it I love doing? What am I fascinated in? And I was fascinated in the mind. I loved the way the mind could change things. I was fascinated in helping people with belief. I love black and white results. And it had to be with people, helping them believe they could achieve anything. And so having the courage to sit with the question, giving myself the time, as you've said, we kind of bat it away, to sit with the question. I can absolutely tell you it took an enormous amount of courage, because once I answered it, I couldn't unknow it. And then I'd be sitting with the two lives, the life I have that I felt very grateful to have got that far, and the life that was potentially in my making for the future. And when you answer that, and I think that's a big reason why people don't go into answering the question themselves, because what am I going to do when I'm sat with this? Because this is big, and knowing this can upset this, but not just this, but the people around. And so that's why I think when you're answering that question, you need to do it with somebody who's a coach. And I'm not promoting myself in this right now, but somebody who can hold that as your brain is unlocking all of this thinking that's coming into your consciousness, and that hold you in your courage and in your belief, and for you not to rule it out for the fear that, if I rule it out now, then I don't have to take any action, but you can just sit with it. And then to remind you of the meaning that it means to you. So
important, because going on this journey, it's incredibly lonely, and especially when you have an idea and you want to brainstorm the idea, that's just only one part of the journey. It's when you actually start taking the steps toward the vision that you've had, this little vision seed that has this massive potential. You look at that tiny little mustard seed. If you've ever looked at, when they say faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains, if you've ever seen a mustard seed, it's like a tiny little coriander seed, but you see the size that tree grows to. It's phenomenal. So ideas can absolutely become that big, but like you say, the fear of success can be as debilitating as the fear of failure. Well, what if this grows too big? What if my life changes too much beyond recognition? What if people don't like the new version of me? There's all the what ifs, isn't there? What would you say to those that are watching or listening to this now that are thinking, well, it's all right for you, Lisa. It's all right for you, Sammy. You went and did it. Well, look at your life now. We didn't know that.
No.
But we were intentional about where it was going to go. So what would you say to those people who are saying it's all right for you?
I think I remember overhearing someone say, the thing about Lisa is that she's got the determination to succeed and the willingness to learn. And those two beliefs made me think, but I could have got, what if I loved it? What if I was a success? What if people needed me to deliver it my way? What if that the only thing stopping me from having the life I always knew I was meant to have was fear? How could I live? Well, how could I live with knowing that fear meant I didn't take action? And this is like a slow death of the soul, knowing that fear. And I do remember thinking, it'd be easier not to do it. I know what I'm doing now in this job. And I never had job security because I work for venture capitalists. So, and I would see people get made redundant, restructures all the time. I knew that I was under the illusion that I had some security. And I thought, well, I might as well have that same illusion in my own business. And what's the worst that can happen? If I failed, what would that look like? Well, failing looks like not making enough money to keep a roof over my head. Well, I could always get a job. I've been in one. I could always get a job. But I knew that once, we probably had this conversation when we mountain walk together. When we start a mountain, we finish it, because you might as well go to the top and down the other side than turn around and go down. And it's just the only thing that stops you from getting to the top is what you're telling yourself in your mind. Where's your focus? And I knew that I could apply that. So it's about, I think, to conclude the answer, is it wasn't all right for me. It was who would I be if I didn't?
Oh, that's so good. Who would I be if I didn't do this? I want each and every one of you to think of something right now that you would love to do, that when you think about it, all the what ifs start bubbling up, and then ask yourself that question: who would I be if I didn't do it? Oh, that's a very conscious question. That is the fire right in your face.
Yeah, it is. It's here right now. If I don't walk across these coals holding my purpose in my soul, and I go back and stand with the rest of the group, who is that really who I am? And I think the other side of what you were saying, which is when people say, what if I fail, or what if it's not the right time? And you can ask all of those questions of yourself and write down, what if it's the wrong time? What if I fail? And answer them for yourself. Don't just stick with the question, what if I fail? Go follow it through. What if you do fail? But the other side is, what if I succeed? Answer that as well. Don't just say the question, but answer it. What if I fail? What if people don't like me? What if I appear too big for my boots? What if I don't fit anymore? My life is unrecognizable. And so, but what if you succeed? What if you love it? What if you make a difference in the world? What if you meet even more magical people that your current friends are glad that you did, because they get to join in as well? Yeah.
I just love that, and I'd like to come to a part of your chapter in the book which bounces really nicely with that. I'm not going to read the whole chapter, obviously, but for those of you that are sitting there and you haven't bought the book yet, go and buy the book so you can at least read Lisa's chapter, because it's so good. In this chapter, I'll just pre-frame it a little bit. Lisa has told her story, and which you're going to have to find out by reading it. And she comes to this paragraph here, which I just love. And you say, "It's an ache I know all too well. I see it in others who come to me in their search for meaning, a purpose that lights them up from inside. Many, like I once did, have invested years building lives they hoped would fulfill them, only to realize that the life they've built no longer resembles the one they truly desire. But it isn't the lack of hard work or commitment that leaves us feeling this way. It's the realization that somewhere along the way, we stopped pursuing what mattered most to our hearts, and yet the thought of leaving it all behind feels unimaginable." Can you take us a little bit further around, like, what do you see in others who really know they want to go further, but there's something in them that's just stopping them? They're hiding behind the dream instead of getting out there and doing it.
I think there's two things that really helps unlock them. One is getting them to be really specific and big about what that dream is. And that does need holding and incubating and supporting. But for it to be big, because sometimes we dream and then we drop it down and then we don't want to go for it because it's not that interesting, but it's because we've shrunk it to stay safe. And the second thing is connecting with our purpose. And when we're connected to our purpose, nothing can stop us. And so doing those two things, how making the vision really big, that almost sounds ridiculous. But if we can, I know that our mind shows us highlights of what's possible for our future and what we're capable of, but our logical mind can't comprehend it. And so, and it kind of defies logic, as does firewalking, completely defy logic. So I think dreaming really big, but doing it with somebody that's able to say, tell me more about that. And what does that look like? And if you couldn't fail, how much more difference would you want to make? You know, it's a much bigger conversation than that. And then really connecting with, you know, what do you think your life has always led you towards? Where have all the signposts been? What is your purpose? And then when those two are coupled together, there's a fire in them that can't stop them. I've had people say we can get to that sometimes in 15 minutes. And I'll say, you need to go now, don't you? Yeah, which is why I work with banks of time rather than you have a 50-minute hour. Don't do that. I give people as much time as they need to create that. But some people get it and they're like, I've got that fire now inside me, that spark that sets them free inside them right now, that they've got to go and take action. And talking anymore is going to dampen that or slow it down or get away. It's like holding back a dam.
That can happen because you can talk yourself out of an idea as fast as you have the idea. One thing that actually we were talking about this a couple of nights ago was how one of the other authors in this book, and I will be talking about this with her, at one of our, I think it was the first event that you came and you did, where we did the glass walking and we did the timeline stuff and the bar bending and the arrow breaking. Honestly, guys and girls, make sure you get to one of our events because we do good events, really good events. And it was at one of these events, and one of our change makers, I don't know if she volunteered or whether somehow she just managed to be up there with you. I don't know how, but all of a sudden, like the whole group, all of us at the event were totally channeled in and connected and focused on her intention. And I remember you walking through the steps with her. And at the end, she described this vision where she's got her cap and gown and she's receiving her PhD. I'm kind of giving a few things away now for those of you that were there. And she's receiving her PhD, and you got her to describe the whole thing. And we were all seeing that vision with her. And then 2 nights ago, I was sat at dinner with one of our other catalysts of change that are part of this process. And he supports people and walks them through the process of getting their PhD. And I was talking to him about this particular change maker, and he said, we'll get her through her PhD. And if I hadn't have been there to be a witness and an intentional creator with her, of like you getting her to share the vision verbally that we could all imagine, we could all see it with her. Well, now all of us are prompted and primed. The pump is primed that when we meet somebody, that vision can come to life very quickly, because we're all out there meeting people. We're all meeting those people that could be their next best contact. And so I love how you are part of that very kind of the ember starting to burn. You are there lighting the fire, giving them the match, blowing on it to give it oxygen, giving the idea life and oxygen, encouraging them to walk into it so that they're not just walking it, they're actually walking into it, and they've walked it so that their brain can't then work out, well, have I done this? Have I not? Well, now I can normalize it because we've already done it before. And then these things are happening out there in the world for real. I don't think there's any coincidence around the magic that you're creating, Lisa. And I think it's, you know, when we're just in the process of delivering that with our clients, we don't always get to see the ripple or hear the conversations like that. So I just wanted to let you know those conversations are happening as a result of something that you created. You started the fire for that about 4 months ago. So good.
I love that. And I think a big part of my role is to then get out the way as this fire burns. not to, you know, just to not to get in its way as it goes on its journey. It's that kind of, it's going. And now, and it's holding the belief, isn't it? You know, it makes a massive difference. I remember my mentor saying to me once, Lisa, I will hold the candle of belief for you until you can hold it yourself. Oh, and I think that's what, you know, when you're in a community, what we get to do for each other is, that's okay. We'll hold it until you can regain your sight, your strength, your desire to hold it yourself. And do you know what? I think in the world, that's what we're missing, that connection where in tribes we would do that with each other. It was just what's the word? Intuitive. It was just a way of being. And now we have to consciously do it with each other because we're so separated whilst we're so connected.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? We've got the ability to be connected in an even deeper way than we could ever have before. And yet it's the very thing that is causing so much division among people. I love how this is all coming together, how we're back in each other's lives, how catalysts of change have become that circle that can really hold that intention around those of you that are reading the book, those of you that are listening to or watching this summit right now. We're holding that intention for you, but just know that we are holding that intention for you. And the more you tell us what we can be believing for you, like, what do you want us to believe for you? Like that amazing change maker who we'll be interviewing her to see how she feels about the other side of the process of now having the opportunity, that very opportunity that you helped her to see. Like, how does she feel now that that's a complete reality in front of her? So, Lisa, we can talk all day, but we haven't got the time. Tell us about the masterclass that we're going to be running, because each of you authors are giving some time to support all of the people that are reading this book and that are going through these processes. Every author has given an activity to do in the book, but the activity you've given people to do in the book, there's another whole step to that. So we're going to do that in the masterclass. Tell us a little bit more about that so that we can get excited about buying the book so that we can get access to all these masterclasses.
Yes, well, I'd love to take people on a lovely guided visualization to start off with, just get us in the mood, and to work out, how do you know or recognize when you're meant for more? You know, that spark needs igniting. And if you do know or recognize you're meant for more, how do you know when the time is? Because sometimes people think they're meant for more, but it's not now, it's in 10 years. It's now, could be right now. And then we'll do some unlocking questions to see if we can get close to or onto what your purpose is. And then I've got a meant for more quiz that will just further help gain some clarity if those that attend, you that are attending, can see that you're meant for more and that now's the time. Which that time will fly by. So it's hopefully, what I hope for anyone that comes along is that you have your own light bulb moments, and also backed up with a sense of desire and belief to dare to get clarity over what it is.
So exciting. So exciting. Well, guys and girls, make sure that you do sign up to the link that's on the screen right now at theimpactcatalyst.com/change. And what we'll do is we'll email you out the full schedule for 2025, because that's the whole point of 2025 is to thrive. And so with all of our authors, they're all doing something. So make sure you sign up for the book via that website. Yes, you can go and buy it straight via Amazon, but then you won't get access to any of these bonuses. You need to buy the book through this link, which will take you to Amazon, but it'll capture your details so that we can send you all the information about what's coming up over the next 12 months. And then you can choose which masterclasses you want to come and attend. I'm going to suggest you're going to want to be at all of them. Lisa, thank you so much for your time today. What one lasting thought would you like to leave us all on?
If you can choose to think anything, make it something good, because we're making stuff up all the time. So make it good stuff.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys and girls. We will be back for our next interview. Stay tuned and we'll see you in the next couple of minutes. Bye-bye for now. Mwah.